Hey there NowBody members, Joel here. Now I shot this video a few years ago, but it applies today. I want to talk to you about setting goals, but not setting a bandwagon. And what I mean by that is so many people, they go on their journey to the perfect physique that they want, and then something happens. So this next video is about water weight, okay? The main reason you lose a lot of weight your first week of doing any type of transition in your nutrition is you lose a lot of water. Our bodies are like 85% water. So the first week you might lose 10 pounds. You really only lost about 2 pounds of fat. So here's where the problem arises. A lot of people, they go out for one cheat meal and they gain 4 pounds. You didn't gain 4 pounds of fat back, you gained water. So watch the rest of this video. It's gonna make perfect sense, and it's a story about one of my friends. Hey folks, Joel Tarian here. For all the new people watching this, welcome to our corporate gym for 7-minute workout and the GVO Plex. Now I have something very important, very important I want to discuss to you today, centered around weight loss. And I've got my trusted buddy Blake over here behind the camera to help with the conversation in case I don't make sense, because I've been doing this so long, it's just something that I know like the palm of my hand. So a good friend called me the other day, almost in tears, because she had gained 4 pounds over the weekend because she decided to have a night out with her husband and go to an actual wedding. And so she had 4 glasses of wine, and she had some bread and a few other things, and she woke up the next day 4 pounds heavier, and she was completely distraught. So let me explain that there's nothing wrong with that. It's not fat, it's water. Let me talk about the other side of this. So many people, when they start a weight loss program, okay, let's call it a weight loss program because it's more of a lifestyle, okay? But so many people, when they start a weight loss program, what you don't realize is there's 3 major macronutrients in the body that you can consume as well. There's protein, there's carbohydrates, and there's fats, okay? Let's take away protein for a second because that's a building block and it's not an energy source that the body can use. The other 2 are fats and carbohydrates, okay? So when you start a diet, there's 2 primary sources of fuel in the body. Number 1, the body will use carbohydrates first, and number 2, it will use fats secondary, okay? So when you want to start a weight loss program, the first thing that you will tend to do, regardless of whether you know you're doing it or not, is you're going to start reducing your carbohydrate intake, which directly affects your sugar intake as well, okay? Now, fats, when consumed, too much fats, okay, I don't want you to go, oh my God, if I eat fat, I get fat. No, that's not the case. Calm down, please listen to this simple science. When you eat too much fats, it stores as fat. When you eat carbohydrates, it stores as glycogen in the muscle, but when you eat too much carbohydrates, it spills over and stores as fat as well, okay? So what happens when you start a diet is you are going to go on much lower carbohydrate or sugar intake. Now, 1 molecule of glycogen, okay, will bind with 2 grams of sugar. So 1 gram of sugar binds with 2 grams of water, or you're up to 3 grams. 3 grams of water and sugar actually stores in your muscle. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't store as fat. It's perfectly normal. So when you start a diet and you lower your sugar intake, what happens is all that usable glycogen is a stored form of sugar that you can use when you don't have enough sugar in your bloodstream, okay? So when you lower your sugar intake and your carbohydrate intake, that glycogen starts to come out of the muscle into the bloodstream and starts being used as a source of fuel. Now remember, there's 2 grams of water bonded with every gram of sugar. So this is what happens. The first week, you lower your sugar intake, so all that sugar starts to come out of the muscle. And all that water that it was binded to starts to come out of the muscle as well. Making sense so far, Blake?
Yes.
So what happens is you're taking all that sugar, all that water out of the muscle, you're utilizing it as a source of fuel, and guess what? When that water comes out of the muscle, that's what you're losing. The average person, okay, can store about 1,000 grams of glycogen in their muscle. Now, based on that, when you burn that off, okay, and the water comes out, you're gonna look at roughly about 6 pounds of water that you'll lose in the first week of any caloric restriction or any new lifestyle or weight loss program or diet. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to call it. Let's call it, again, weight loss program. So in your first week, you will lose about 1 to 2 pounds of pure fat. 1 pound of fat has 3,500 calories in it, okay? Now, the basal metabolic rate of an average human being, meaning the amount of calories you burn in 24 hours doing nothing, is about 1,200, 1,000 calories, 1,500 calories a day. For muscular people, it's much higher than that, but that's a whole different video, okay? So if you look at your basal metabolic rate, how much calories you burn doing nothing, you would have to sit around for 3 days, 3 whole days, not eating at all to burn 1 pound of fat. Because remember, 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So here's what I want you to understand. Is the first week, you're going to lose about 6 pounds of water and about 1 to 2 pounds of fat, right? 3,500 calories in 1 pound, 7,000 calories in 2 pounds of fat. So this is the psychological problem with this. In the first week, the person loses, let's say, anywhere from 6 to 8 pounds. They go, yeah, man, in a month, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to be down to where I want to be in a month. No. After you drain the water out of your muscles, the next week, you're just burning fat because there's no glycogen left in your muscles. And what happens is, the following week, which is a realistic goal, you'll burn 1 to 2 pounds of fat again. But the problem is the psychology, right? The first week you burn or you lose 8 pounds. The second week you lose 1 to 2 pounds. What happens? Holy cow, man, this diet, I thought I was going to lose another 7 or 8 pounds. And, you know, I fell off the bandwagon, this doesn't work, this is no good. And the whole psychology around it really trips you up. Let me come back to about the start of the story with my friend. So, let's use the reverse. She already had most of the glycogen in her body out of her body, right? All the stored carbohydrates and sugar. So when she went out for a meal with her husband, and she hadn't had that many carbohydrates in a while, right? Wine is sugar. Bread is broken down to sugar. So she had some extra sugars that night. Maybe, let's say, at most 1,000 calories worth of sugar, right? So 1,000 calories combined with 2 grams of water, she increased her body weight by 3,000 grams, which there's like, you know, in 1 pound, there's like 450 grams. The point I'm trying to make is what she did is she went and replenished her glycogen storage. Remember, sugar binds with water and stores in the muscle. So naturally, she gained 3 to 4 pounds overnight because all that sugar, it didn't get stored as fat. It went and stored in her muscle, which is a good thing. But guess what? You wake up the next day, you jump on the scale, you look down, and let's say you were 130 pounds, and now you're 134 pounds. Oh my God, this diet doesn't work. Oh my God, I blew it. Understand, 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. Okay, understand the science here. If she gained 4 pounds, okay, which is all water, I know that, you're gonna know that now. If it was truly fat, okay, she would have had to consume 14,000 calories. Why? 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories, 2 pounds is 7,000, 4 pounds is what, right? So she would have had to consume 14,000 calories the night before to gain truly 4 pounds of fat. She maybe consumed 700 to 1,000 calories of sugar, which stored as glycogen. And again, that sugar, when stored as glycogen, pulls in 2 grams of water at the same time with each gram of sugar, and that's why she gained weight. So can you see how this plays such a psychological role on your head? When I go out and I have a cheat meal or I go and eat whatever I want and I gain 2 or 3 pounds the next day, I don't care. Why? Because it's the simple science behind it. I know I gained some water, I know it's good for my metabolism, and I don't freak out. Any questions, Blake?
No, I think that's a perfect message about that intense weight gain in one night.
Yeah, and it's just like the opposite of the intense weight loss the first week, right? They're like, oh my God, I lost 8 pounds, fantastic. And then the next week they only lose a pound or a pound and a half. The reality is in your first week, again, you lost 7 pounds of water and maybe 1 to 2 pounds of fat. The second week you lost 1 to 2 pounds of fat, but it doesn't show on the scale. It only shows as 1 or 2 pounds. Mm-hmm. But the psychology behind that really freaks people out. They're like, this diet just doesn't work anymore. Oh my God, when in reality, it was just as effective in week 2 as it was in week 1. So it plays on both sides. You can lose a massive amount of weight and then decide the diet doesn't work anymore by week 2 or 3. On the opposite side, you go out and have a cheat meal and you're enjoying life and you're having a good time and you step on the scale the next day and you're 4 or 5 pounds heavier. Again, it's just water weight. Water comes and goes. Our bodies are 85% water. It's water. It's not calories. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Enjoy it, celebrate it, and then just get back on your lifestyle change, your weight loss program the next day. Any other questions?
Nope, makes perfect sense.
I'm glad that makes perfect sense. JB behind the camera, does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Good, guys. So don't worry about it. Celebrate it. If you have any questions of your own, post them below. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.